Welcome again to the old principal. 我就是老校长 and we have some English instructional programs here. Actually, they're just stories. The stories are designed to help you in your listening ability. And you might even learn something new. Or in this case, you might even learn something about me. But don't tell anybody. Okay, today's lesson is number 271. I love your daughter. I love your daughter. Now, before we get into this, we need to listen to the story. So, that lovely daughter, who has been my wife for nearly 50 years, now she is going to read you the story. So stay by for the story.
Story 271. I love your daughter. During the summer of 1964, I was in summer school. I also was writing lots of letters to my girlfriend. By this time, we had already dated for a year and a half. I was ready to propose. But before I could ask her to marry me, I had to get permission from her dad. With summer school completed, I headed for home. On the first weekend back home, I borrowed a car from my dad and drove to my girlfriend's home an hour's drive away. I left home early Saturday morning and first attended church with my girlfriend's family. After church, we all returned to their home for a large noon meal. I was worried about the question I needed to ask her father. As the women were busy preparing the food in the kitchen, I suggested to my girlfriend's dad that the two of us go outside on the front lawn. For a while, we engaged in small talk. Finally, I cleared my throat and the next few words sort of tumbled out. I love your daughter very much, and I want... At that moment, my girlfriend's youngest sister opened the door and announced, "Hurry inside, it's time to eat." She shut the door, and it took me a couple of minutes to regroup my thoughts. I began again. As I was saying, I love your daughter very much, and I was wondering if I might marry her. Phew, I got it out. Again the door opened and more childish voices chorused, "Come on, you guys! It's time to eat!" This time I turned and said, "We'll be there in a couple of minutes, I promise. Just leave us alone for a few more minutes." The door shut. We were alone again. He said, "John, we like you. We feel comfortable about you joining our family." I sighed with relief, for now I could ask my girlfriend to marry me.
Welcome back. Here we go. During the summer of 1964, I was in summer school. I think we already had a lesson on that. I was in summer school, and I also was writing lots of letters to my girlfriend. Those were different times, weren't they? These, nowadays, we've got internet, and we have instant messaging, and QQ, and so many things. But in those days, we took a piece of paper, an envelope, 信封, and we wrote a letter, put it in, 贴了邮票, put the stamps on. I mean, this is a long time ago. We wrote many letters. By this time, we had already dated for a year and a half. 1年半已经约会. We were good friends in English environment, or at least in the American culture, we say that we were going steady. That means I didn't have any other girlfriends. She didn't have any other boyfriends. We were focused on each other. Okay? Now, we had dated for 1.5 years, and I was ready to propose. Okay? 要求婚呢? To propose. A proposal is 求婚. I was ready to do this. Go ahead. But before I could ask her to marry me, I had to get permission from her dad. 我必须从他的父亲得到他的允许. Okay, so getting permission from her father was the next step. Going on. With summer school completed, I headed for home. Okay, so I'm done with summer school. I going home. I must tell you that her home was not too far away from my home. In fact, depending on how fast I drove, I could probably get there. 这个车程差不多1个小时. It's about 1 hour trip from her house, from my house to her house. Going on. On the first weekend back home, I borrowed a car from my dad. I didn't have my own car. I borrowed a car from my dad. 向他借了一个车子. Okay, I borrowed a car from my dad, and I drove to my girlfriend's home. Why would I go? Oh, of course, yeah, I'm always going to my girlfriend's home. An hour's drive away. That means 1个小时的车程 just to get there. That wasn't too bad. Going on. I left home early Saturday morning. Okay? And first attended church with my girlfriend's family. 首先, I went to church. 我上教堂啊，去教堂聚会. Okay, I went to church. I attended church with my girlfriend's family. Fortunately, we went to the same church. So I didn't feel uncomfortable. I felt very uncomfortable. Well, yeah, maybe I felt a little uncomfortable. 很不舒服. Why? Because everybody in the church was looking. Oh, Connie Hartzell has a boyfriend. Ooh, what kind of person is he? So, yeah, I felt a little bit uncomfortable because everybody was looking at me, including her family. They're all looking at me. Okay? And then after church, we all returned to their home for a big noon meal. This was standard procedure. We did this, 他们的传统. And that is that after church, you return home. Sometimes at church, you eat, have a meal at church, 聚餐, potluck. But sometimes you just go home and you have a large meal. And of course, I was the guest. They have a big family, 很多孩子. 他是一位医生, 他的爸爸. And they had 6 children. So lots of children. But I was the guest. And everybody was looking and talking to me and so on. Now, in this type of a situation, I was worried about the question I needed to ask her father. 对我要问他的爸爸的问题很烦恼。I was worried about the question that I had to ask her father. Now, as the women were busy preparing the food, okay, in the kitchen, so 这个女人, including the children, I suggested to my girlfriend's dad that the two of us go outside on the lawn. So this was my suggestion. Remember, it's summertime. It's beautiful. Outside is beautiful. There is sunlight. And it wasn't too hot and it wasn't too cold. And so I suggested, 我建议, let's go outside, just the two of us, 两个人, not 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, just the two of us. We go out on the front lawn, okay? If you say front yard, 这个前面的院子, but front lawn, 草坪, a lawn is a 草坪. So let's go out on the front lawn. Now, for a while, we engaged in small, this is standard procedure, right? You're always talking about, oh, beautiful weather. Oh, how did your week go? My week went okay. Summer school was okay. And we're just talking about small talk. We say small talk. Okay, 聊天. Okay, 聊天. Now, the small talk means 没有多大的这个意思了. We all do it. You know, talk about the weather and so on. Finally, I cleared my throat. 清了清我的嗓子, okay? I cleared my throat. And the next few words sort of tumbled out. Now, this is hard to translate, and I'm not sure the next few words, 下面的几句话, tumbled out. What does it mean, tumble? To tumble means I took a tumble, 我跌倒了. Okay? To take or 倒下来, or 掉出来. In this case, 掉出来 probably is it just sort of kind of came out. I don't know how it was, they just tumbled out. Okay, go ahead. I love your daughter very much, and I love your daughter very much, and I want, going on, at that moment, my girlfriend's youngest sister, her name is Vei, by the way, youngest sister, opened the door and announced, 宣布, hurry inside, it's time to eat. Okay, at that moment, my girlfriend's youngest sister opened the door. Actually, we weren't very far from the door, and she announced, 给我们宣布, hurry inside, 尽快进来. 吃饭的时候已经来到. It's time to eat. It is time to eat. Well, what happened? Of course, it messed up my thoughts, 打断我的思想, and so I didn't know what to do. So she shut the door, and it took me a couple minutes. 我用了几分钟啊 What? To regroup my thoughts. What does it mean to regroup one's thoughts? To regroup one's thought means 重新组织我的思想. Originally, I had it all planned out. I knew exactly what I was going to say. And then we got distracted, interrupted, okay? And because of that, it took me 2 minutes to figure out what I was saying and how to continue. I began again. 我重新开始说, and this is what I said. As I was saying, I love your daughter very much, and I was wondering if I may marry her. 我爱上你的女儿, and I was wondering, 不知道是否可以得到你的允许. I was wondering, 不知道, okay, whether or if, whether, you can actually, you notice this, it says if I could. Actually, I just said whether. In this situation, if or whether, same thing. 是否我能够娶她? Okay. Phew. I got it out. 终于就出来了，我的话就出来了。哎呀, so difficult. Even today, in my mind, I can see all of this happening. I can remember all of these experiences. It's as real today as it was back then. Again, the door opened and more childish voices chorused, "Come on, you guys, it's time to eat." Okay. The door opened and more childish. 当然他有很多妹妹弟弟啊. Chorused. Chorus. A chorus is singing. But I think in this situation, 就喊着说了. Because obviously you're not going to sing in a situation like this. Come on, you guys. Now, when it says, come on, you guys, it sort of gives the idea like, 哎呀，我们等得不耐烦. It's like they were a little bit impatient about us. And so, come on, you guys, it's time to eat. Like, come on, it's time to eat. Going on. This time, I turned and said, before I didn't say it so directly, but this time I turned and said, we'll be there in a couple minutes. Has that ever happened in your home? Of course, I'm coming. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Where are you? Even today, my wife has this. It's time to eat. I'm coming. I really am. I'm coming. Well, sometimes we get busy doing whatever we are doing, and it's hard for us to get around to coming and going to eat. This time I turned and said, 我转身跟他说 we'll be there in a couple minutes. 还要几分钟啊 I promise. 我保证 I promise. 我保证 Just leave us alone for a few minutes. 让我们单独在几分钟啊 Just give us a couple more minutes while we're talking. Of course, children don't quite comprehend these things. I'm sure that they did not realize that that day I would propose to their sister, 求婚啊 and they certainly did not know that I was talking to their father about such an important thing. So this I'm sure they just didn't understand. The door shut, and we were alone again. 门就关上 And we were alone again, by ourselves, just the two of us. Going on. And then he said, John, we like you. Hey, that's cool. Of course, I had gone many times to their house. They had a pretty good idea who I was. And so he said to me, John, we like you. 我们喜欢你. Oh, that made me feel good. Okay. We feel comfortable about you joining our family. Okay? We feel comfortable. 感到很舒服. You are joining our family. 就变成我们家的一份子, 一员. Okay? In other words, to join the family is to become part of the family. I sighed with relief. For now, I still had one more thing to do. The father said it was okay. He said that the family was comfortable with me. Now I just had one more thing to do. I needed to propose to the young lady. I sighed with relief. Now I could ask my girlfriend to marry me. 这个嫁给我. So, have you ever had an experience like this? One of the things that, if I can spend a few minutes philosophizing, is that when you marry someone, you also, in a way, marry their family. Okay? You become part of your girlfriend's family. It is very important that you have a good relationship with your girlfriend's family, because for the rest of your life, you will be interfacing, 经常跟他们在一起, okay? And if you do not have a good relationship with them, this is not good. Okay? But not impossible. You always have to maintain this good relationship with the family. Also, you need to have a good relationship with their brothers and sisters. Now, in my case, my wife now, she's my wife. We'll tell more of this story later on. My wife is the oldest child in the family, 也是他们的家里的老大. And I am the oldest one in my family. So it takes a little while to get used to the smaller children. I had younger sister. I had a younger brother and 3 younger sisters, and she had a younger brother and 4 younger sisters. So the two, we both came from big families. But keeping peace in the family is very important. You must feel comfortable with them, and they must feel comfortable with you. And this is the reason why a young man and a young woman spend an amount of time 约会, getting to know each other, so that because you do marry the family in a sense. Okay, well, we do have an email address. Our email address is theoldprinciple@gmail.com, and our website, where you can see some of our videos, is www.theoldprinciple.org. Hey, I've enjoyed spending the time with you, and I do hope that you will bring a friend and join us next time for another story. Until then, bye-bye.